You are an actor.
Yes.
Why acting?
It started off actually when I was about 11, 12.
Yeah.
I'd gone to North Carolina with my parents. We were visiting some friends over there at the time.
Yeah.
It was actually a really good trip because it was it was maybe the second time that I'd been to America.
Oh, no.
But yeah, from an acting point of view, how I started to develop like an interest from it, it was funny enough sitting there watching Fern Gully, like the old cartoon, and I was just fascinated by like the colours and like even it was believable for like someone who was 11 or 12, 12-year-old kid. It was believable to me, and I don't know. I've always had that interest in creating something, but just didn't know how to really, project it because I was quite a shy guy, like quite a shy kid. But that did definitely for me spark something, like to give acting a try and see where I go with it.
How did you get into acting? So you talked about Fangully and how that helped you want to be an actor.
I think following up from that, it was secondary school.
Yeah.
I had started to develop more of an interest for drama.
Yeah.
I think what I love about drama for me personally, of course, it was more that I could just make something out of nothing or work off of something to just like create a character or to create a scene. It was interesting for me, like at 16, 17, like the imagination that goes into it and the thought process that goes into it. It just took me like with real interest. I took to it, but I got into it purely on the basis I was doing a show with one of my friends. It was like a war drama or war piece that we were doing. But it was like one of, for me, the first proper things that I really got into and it was with my friends as well. That's what made it more enjoyable. I was with a group of friends and we done like a World War One piece, Private Peaceful it was called. I think it was written by Michael Morpurgo.
Okay.
But really, really enjoyed it, and again, it just gave me that hunger, that desire to want to do more in that field and to push towards something even better. And definitely.
Cool. So what happened after secondary school?
After secondary school, I went to college. Went to Barnet College. I was going to do. I didn't know what I really wanted to do as much. I had that passion for acting, so I just decided to go to the acting, go through it. And bear in mind, going back to the secondary school piece that I done, it was more like I had a role to play in it, but it was quite like a supporting role. It wasn't so much like a lead role or anything like that. So for me to go into acting in college was a big step, because it's a lot of people, or some people that are on the same page as you, and it can be a bit nerve-wracking, because when you see some of the talent that you come across, it can sort of put pressure on you. But I went to college, done 2-year, 3-year course in performing arts, and it led to me getting a lead role in Macbeth, like William Shakespeare.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was definitely like God was good in that sense, that not only did I get my first major role out of college, but it gave me a huge boost in my confidence and like my belief as well that I can actually achieve this if I just put the work in and just trust God for it.
That's brilliant, man. That's brilliant. And obviously that led to more roles and more opportunities.
Yeah.
So what's a typical day for an actor? For yourself, what was a typical day like?
In college, would you say, or just in general?
In general. After college.
I think when I had finished college, I was in and out of work. So like did a year in retail, and then did a year. Yeah, it was a year in retail that I'd done, or 2 years in retail. But working for those jobs, I didn't really feel like I was achieving anything. I felt like I was just pushing stuff back. I did go back to college and I done my resits, which I did okay in. I was happy with that, but I still had this like desire to want to do acting. So it was actually one of my friends from my college days had told me about getting into like background work, like extra work.
Okay.
And from there, I'd done it for about 4 years.
Oh, wow.
I've been doing it for about 4 years. I mean, I still do it every now and again. So it's been about 4 years, 5 years I've been doing that. But it's definitely, I've met a lot of interesting people along the way.
Yeah,
And
you would do.
yeah, and I've met some cool actors as well, which is nice fun. Yeah.
Sweet. So in preparing for an audition, what would you go through? What process? What's the process?
It's different for many people, but for me in particular, I used to try and balance the acting side with my personal side. So I wouldn't let it be taken up my whole day, so to speak. Like some actors, like Daniel Day-Lewis, he'll literally take his work home with him, and he'll experiment with his family, and he'll practice the role that way. But for me, it was more, I would maybe go up to my room, I'd sit there, I'd have maybe a script out on the floor, like a few pages, and I'd just sort of like sit there for a few minutes and just sort of get into the mode of what the play was about or what the story was about. And I used to do that for maybe about an hour. I'd even like practice how it should sound or the emotion that should be, portrayed through that particular moment or in that particular moment in the script. But I'd usually spend an hour in the morning. I'd have a break throughout the day, just spend time with my family and friends. And then in the evening, I'd always do like an hour or 2 hours at the end of the night, just to sort of keep it fresh, but not overload myself too much. So
no, it's good. It sounds like you've got the balance between preparing and relaxation down, which is good.
Yeah,
it's key. It stops the insanity.
Funny you should say that, because it was actually a teacher of mine that had. I've always kept this with me, but he said always when you're doing or preparing for a role, he said 90% of the role and 10% of yourself.
Yeah.
And that's always stuck with me. It's made me always say to myself, enjoy what you do, but don't let it take over you and be in control of you, so to speak. So that has really stuck with me, and I've applied that as well, even to when preparing for roles and stuff.
So you've had a few bit part roles.
Yeah.
One, I know I saw on YouTube, the Apple Pay one.
Apple Pay,
Which is kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it was actually like my first feature role.
Yeah.
Like a paid role as well. So which was nice, but it was really good. It was somewhere in like Liverpool Street or something, like in town. We just filmed for a couple of hours, filmed here and there, different locations. After that, we just sat together, just had like 8 or 9 boxes of pizza, and we were just chilling out eating them. But that was definitely, for me, for like a first feature role, it was nice, because I didn't, of course, expect something massive, but to be, of course, featured in an advert like HSBC, it was really good. Like at the time, I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it led on to many other things as well. So
nice. That's what you want. You want one role to lead to another.
Yeah.
Between to another, so which is good. Do you have an agent, or have you looked into that process?
I have looked into it. It's an unusual thing with acting. I mean, from college days, they would advise you not to go into like background work.
Yeah.
Because it would most probably be a deterrent for managing agents. But the only reason I went into it was to sort of get an idea of how the movie industry worked, but as well to practice the art that I have and that I love doing. But I don't have an agent, so to speak, but I do have agencies for like background workers and extras that I work with. And sometimes it can lead to like the HSBC ad, it can lead to those sort of opportunities. But definitely, I mean, I'm still looking, I'm open to, open to offers, so I'm definitely believing God that something will come from it, from what I'm doing.
Everyone has a unique style for acting.
Mm-hmm.
That's my belief. Like, let me know if
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Definitely.
what would yours be? Or where do you derive yours from?
It's that's a good question. Going back to my college days, a certain technique was method acting.
Yes.
And there's a lot of actors, I mean, that stick to that principle. I mean, one of them I can name is Martin Freeman.
Yeah.
He does method acting, or he's quite a believer of it. But method acting is like a mix. It's pretty much bringing a natural emotion to life.
Yeah.
Something that if you were to watch a play and you've seen something that was, made you feel upset or feel sad at that minute, that is what they're trying to do. And if they portray that in their acting as well, that's what method acting is. It's bringing like naturalism to the actual big screen or to the play.
Yeah.
Because I think the three questions that you ask in method acting is, who am I?
Yeah.
Where am I going? And where have I come from?
Yeah.
And it's always, you could almost apply it to yourself as an individual, just like a normal situation. Who am I? Where am I going? And where have I come from? And that's what I like. I like something that is real to me and real to the audience that you're going to be, showing it to.
With all the acting that you've done, you started an apprenticeship recently.
Yeah, it's an apprenticeship that I had tried for, but I got the job through the workplace with that. It's with the company pretty much. But yeah, it's pretty much, it involves working with alarms, with locks, like surveys, stuff like that. So it's pretty much like a trade business, Banham security. But it's definitely opened up something of an interest to me. I do enjoy it. I mean, it pays. That's the main thing. It does pay, right? It pays well, and I mean, it is something that I have developed an interest over doing the work over the past few months that I've been there. Yeah, it's interesting though.
Cool, I like that. So, where would you like to be at the end of 2018?
I think for me personally, it would be going to a red carpet event and just seeing a movie that I'm in, like as a lead role, just like on that cinema that I'm going into, and just to like sit down at the front row and watch the production that I took part in. I think that is what I want to see at the end of 2018, because I feel like then I'm there. I've achieved what I wanted to achieve, and it's not the end. It's the new beginning, new chapter to even bigger and better things from there. But yeah, definitely that's my ideal dream, to see myself at the end of 2018.
And finally, to sort of round this all up, what's the one principle you live by?
I think it's actually one of my favourite films is The Lord of the Rings. And there's, in the second one, Two Towers, there's a moment where two best friends, Frodo and Sam, they're talking to one another, but Frodo's like, pretty much, if you've seen the film, he's got like a ring of power, and it causes him to have like mood swings. He just changes, like, and becomes cruel at some points, and then he's himself at others. But there's something that his friend Sam says to him. He says, "I can't go on," and he says, "There's still good left in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for." And I think when I heard that, it gave me that hunger and desire to say, do you know what? It's worth fighting for, despite what your current circumstance may be. Whether you be working in a McDonald's, whether you be working in an office, whether you are already there, there's always something worth fighting for. And that's a principle that I will always live by. Fight for it, because you only get out what you put in. If you just commit yourself to it and believe God that you will achieve that which you are looking for.